Hi everybody, I'm coming to you here from my backyard. You'll hear the sounds of water and birds and perhaps a cat or two in the background. But it feels like the right place to be today here on a nice spring day. And I'm just taking some deep prayerful breaths and thought I'd take a minute to send a few words of support and encouragement to you in your own place, wherever you might be watching this from. We're in an unusual Holy Week. Just yesterday, we were celebrating Palm Sunday, waving palms and singing hosannas. And today, we're hearing the news that our numbers are rising, that the variants are present in our population, and that there are increased restrictions on our movements around, including the rescinding of the order to hold indoor worship. While this might be hard news for us to hear, and for those of you who were thinking of gathering for in-person worship, it might be a big disappointment. I also really want to say a word in support of our health officer, Dr. Henry, and their firm commitment to keeping us all safe. And I really want to speak out in support of these difficult measures, recognizing that we're really in the hardest miles of a marathon, the ones that are really close to the end and you're almost at the finish line. It's the hardest to keep going, you're exhausted, but at the same time that finish line is very close and we just don't want to stop. We know our communities are facing more worry and uncertain weeks with COVID, and it is a lot all at once. And this in the midst of the fullest season of the church year. But while we can't worship indoors, we can continue to worship virtually and be all together in new and different ways. And some of you may be choosing to proceed with outdoor services, and that is still allowed. But if you're going to do that, please check out our website for guidelines and guidance on how to do so safely. And please remind those most vulnerable of sickness to stay away from any gatherings inside or out. Over the past year, you've discovered creative and courageous ways of being the church and of holding on to community in the most challenging of times. We have more of that ahead of us, and it's tiring and hard. This pandemic has shown us many ways that we are adaptable leaders, faithfully serving God's people, and that we are a community of faith that treasures one another. So let's continue to strengthen our hearts and our resolve in order that we can embrace hope. I encourage you to follow the guidance from our officials this Eastertide, modeling the deep care and compassion of Jesus, remembering that we are not alone. We live in God's world. We believe in God, who has created and is creating, who has come in Jesus, the Word made flesh, to reconcile and make new, who works in us and others by the Spirit. We trust in God. We are called to be the church, to celebrate God's presence, to live with respect in creation, to love and serve others, to seek justice and resist evil, to proclaim Jesus crucified and risen, our judge and our hope. In life, in death, in life beyond death, God is with us. We are not alone. Thanks be to God. Amen.